Every so often, the Pacific Ocean, usually as calm as a Zen garden, decides to spice things up with a mysterious twist. Hidden beneath its tranquil surface is a powerhouse of nature, a climactic superstar that throws weather conditions worldwide into a wild dance. Ladies and gentlemen, meet El Niño. This isn't your average tropical sideshow. It's a globe-trotting disruptor. Welcome to SpaceVerse, your cosmic gateway to the wonders of the universe. Join us on an exhilarating journey through the cosmos as we explore the mesmerizing phenomena of El Niño and La Niño. Delve into the intricate dance of Earth's climate system and the profound impact these weather events can have on our planet. Stay tuned for captivating insights, expert analyses, and a front-row seat to the unfolding drama of our ever-changing climate. Don't miss a moment. Subscribe now and embark on a celestial adventure with SpaceVerse. Picture this. From South America drowning in epic rains to Australia catching fire due to ruthless droughts, El Niño is no stranger to making headlines. But what's the secret sauce behind this climate sensation? Time for a behind-the-scenes peek. El Niño, affectionately known as the boy in Spanish, is more than just a playful moniker. It's a meteorological maestro, orchestrating a temperature symphony in the oceans. Imagine a wizard with the power to crank up ocean temperatures, creating a balmy surge of 32.4 to 32.9 degrees Fahrenheit above the norm. This climate conjurer made its debut in the 16th century, and true to its globe-trotting nature, doesn't discriminate in its appearances. El Niño is a worldwide sensation. Get ready for a wild ride. From floods and droughts to spikes in CO2 and a roller coaster of temperatures, the drama unfolds in the East Central Pacific Ocean, throwing coastal nations and unsuspecting marine inhabitants into a sudden and challenging climate wardrobe change. But hold on to your meteorological hats, because El Niño is just one act in the grand performance called the El Niño Southern Oscillation. There's a dynamic duo to this climactic saga, with La Niña taking the stage as El Niño's polar opposite. Then there's the neutral state, where neither of these weather divas is stealing the spotlight. It's a climatic soap opera, and we're all hooked on the drama. Enter La Niña, the cool cat of weather phenomena, living up to her Spanish name meaning the girl. Unlike her fiery counterpart El Niño, La Niña brings a chill to the ocean waters, dropping temperatures by a brisk 37 to 41 degrees Fahrenheit. Brace yourselves, because when La Niña takes center stage, countries like the United States and Canada better be ready for a deluge of severe rainstorms, floods, and a hurricane season that flexes its muscles. Now, here's the kicker. Predicting these two troublemakers is like trying to guess the plot twist in a thriller. They're not clockwork regular, throwing their meteorological tantrums every 2 to 7 years. And to make matters more intriguing, these aren't blink and you miss them spectacles. El Niño strits its stuff for a solid 9 to 12 months, while La Niña extends her cool reign for 1 to 3 years. But let's dive into the oceanic theatrics behind these weather wonders. Picture this. In the Pacific Ocean, under normal conditions, trade winds play nice, moving from high-pressure zones to low-pressure zones, shimmying from east to west. These winds push warm water towards Asia and Australia, triggering a positive ripple effect for fishing with a process called upwelling. Cold water rises on the eastern coast of South America, loaded with nutrients for happy fish. Now upset this delicate dance and enter El Niño or La Niña. During El Niño, the winds slack off, letting warm water party without much interference, and upwelling takes a coffee break. Result: Pacific waters warm up everywhere, unleashing a global weather symphony. Tropics brace for floods, while Western countries get cozy with droughts. Case in point, Hawaii's Pua, where January's typical rainfall of 2.7 inches dwindled to a measly 0.4 inches during the El Niño fiesta of 2010. Talk about weather drama. Yet, the ENSO saga doesn't stop at El Niño's encore. It can flip the script and cue La Niña for a climatic performance switcheroo. In the La Niña act, winds crank up the volume, doing a power-up on upwelling and cooling down oceanic hotspots. Hold on to your weather vane, because this shift means the western parts of the United States and the northern corners of South America might be reaching for an extra sweater, while the Indian Ocean warms up for a tropical toast. Historically, these weather mood swings haven't been gentle. The 19th century saw 30 to 60 million lives lost in India, China, and Brazil due to ruthless droughts and floods triggered by ENSO. Fast forward to the 20th century, where El Niño unleashed its havoc 26 times, dealing serious blows to Western countries' harvests. The casualties weren't limited to humans. Sea lions and various critters felt the impact, too. Now, cue the spotlight on the unfortunate stars of this meteorological show: Peru and Ecuador, the South American headliners. Their economies, heavily reliant on fish and fertilizers, take a nosedive when El Niño barges in. Upwelling taps out, leading to fish massacres and relentless rainfall that sweeps away crops and infrastructure. On the flip side, droughts cast their ominous shadow over eastern realms like Indonesia and Australia, with dwindling water sources and parched crops taking a toll on lives, both human and animal, as well as land fertility. Africa's eastern players, Kenya and Tanzania and the Americas, find themselves in the rain dance, while south-central stars like Zambia and Mozambique bear the brunt of drought. Down in the South United States, Texas becomes a rain-soaked victim during El Niño. But over in California, it's a different story. Rain becomes the unsung hero, blessing crops like lime and avocado. And would you believe it? Even Canadian winters catch a break, turning a tad milder. But the El Niño extravaganza isn't just a North Hemisphere spectacle. It extends its icy touch to Antarctica. The western reaches experience a subtle warm-up, inviting more snowfall. But the downside comes with melting shelf glaciers due to the downturn and upwelling. The weather world, it seems, has no boundaries. However, in the weather tug-of-war, La Niña steps in as a glacier guardian, boosting their mass and maintaining equilibrium. Pinning down ENSO's direct impact on European nations is like chasing a gust of wind. El Niño, with its chilly and dry European winters, has a historical rap sheet, notably in the 18th century, when it threw a frosty wrench into harvests and possibly fanned the flames of the French Revolution in 1789. By the 19th century, this duo was already stirring up 3 severe famines across Asia and Europe. Fast forward to the last sighting of El Niño and La Niña in 2015 and 2016, a whopping 7 years ago. The heat was on, literally, with 2016 snagging the title of the hottest year on record. It outdid its predecessors, wreaking havoc with hunger for over 60 million people. Equatorial waters in 2015 stayed toasty throughout the year, peaking in November with the Central Ocean warming up by a scorching 37.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The overall warming, reaching 35 degrees Fahrenheit, likely stands as a record since 1860. Every continent felt the ripple effects of El Niño, like Australia grappling with severe droughts, especially in the east and north. This kick-started a fiery fiesta with 125 fires, devastating vast swaths of Tasmanian nature, including unaccustomed victims like rainforests and swamps. Adding insult to injury, this period marked the peak of coral bleaching, a cruel process turning corals ghostly white and rendering them alarmingly susceptible to death. The drama unfolds, and the climate continues to be a global player in shaping our world. This spring and fall of 2016 painted a grim picture for Australia, as they marked some of the driest periods on record, taking a toll on harvests. The scorching heat also played spoilsport for ore, Australia's top export. Meanwhile, across Asia, different regions faced their own weather woes. Severe drought gripped 85% of the Philippines and Indonesia, unleashing large-scale fires in Indonesia that not only worsened air quality, but also impacted the export of palm oil. The consequence? Skyrocketing prices not just for palm oil, but also for all products utilizing the oil. Vietnam and Thailand felt the pinch too, with a significant drop in rice production due to water shortages. India followed suit, trimming its supplies of rice, sugar, cotton, and corn. China faced a tale of 2 climates, droughts plaguing the north, while the south grappled with relentless rain and floods. South America bore the brunt of Mother Nature's fury in 2016. Peru took a hit with severe flooding and landslides, leaving around 5,000 people homeless and impacting shrimp production. Floods forced the evacuation of 150,000 individuals in Paraguay, Brazil, Argentina, and beyond. Argentina faced an agricultural nightmare with one of the largest locust infestations on record. Adding to the cascade of disasters, Colombia, welcoming rain in April 2016 after drought, found itself in the grips of famine, with approximately 2.3 million people needing urgent humanitarian aid. As per the UN, the Caribbean faced a water crisis, with St. Lucia declaring a state of emergency due to drinking water shortages. The interconnected dance of global weather left no corner untouched in 2016. The impact of El Niño danced to a different tune in Brazil, causing a surge in global coffee and sugar prices. Meanwhile, the United States and European countries enjoyed a weather encore, with states like Missouri, Mississippi, and the United Kingdom receiving above-average precipitation, making a splash but not making a significant dent in their economies. Africa, however, faced an economic hit, witnessing a 6 million ton drop in food production in South Africa, with some parts of Zimbabwe losing 75% of their harvest. Ethiopia needed humanitarian aid for 10 million people, and 458,000 children were treated for acute malnutrition, contributing to a global hunger toll of 60 million people. Unfavorable weather also triggered disease outbreaks, notably in Africa and South America. In South America, floods facilitated the spread of the Zika virus. In Africa, cholera and Rift Valley fever outbreaks in the east, along with malaria, left their mark. Animals bore the brunt of El Niño's effects, with marine birds and small mammals falling prey to predators, and invasive species like locusts and tree frogs wreaking havoc on crops while aiding the spread of diseases. The seriousness of the El Niño and La Niña threat cannot be overstated. Meteorologists are already noting signs of El Niño, expected to make its entrance in late summer 2023 or early 2024. According to researchers like Dylan Amaya from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and Pateri Talis, Secretary General of the World Meteorological Organization. With a La Niña period lasting 3 years and only concluding in March, a significant accumulation of heat energy in the ocean sets the stage for El Niño to unleash its effects, potentially leading to new global temperature records in the coming year. The climatic drama continues, and we find ourselves on the edge of another act in the ever-evolving weather story. Predicting the future behavior of El Niño is challenging, given the unique characteristics of each occurrence and the dynamic state of the Earth's climate. However, climate scientists are offering insights into potential outcomes for the upcoming El Niño in 2023 to 2024. A candidate in climate science at Tracasca Castro outlines 4 possible consequences for global weather. Firstly, there's the anticipation that ocean temperatures could rise, possibly reaching 35 degrees Fahrenheit. During its peak, temperatures may soar even higher, reminiscent of the 2015-16 scenario. However, the severity of this temperature increase remains uncertain at this early stage. Secondly, after a prolonged period of La Niña, Australia, having experienced abundant rainfall, could face a shift next year. The continent's overall temperature has increased by 34.5 degrees Fahrenheit since the beginning of the 20th century, potentially setting the stage for an exceptionally hot year and early fires. Thirdly, South America may not only witness a humanitarian crisis, but also the resurgence of serious diseases like malaria, Zika virus, or dengue fever. Additionally, abnormal heat could contribute to brain disorders and miscarriages. Severe droughts in the Amazon rainforest, as well as in Africa, India, and Australia, could stunt vegetation growth, reducing the absorption of CO2 from the atmosphere. Fourthly, Northern Europe might brace for cold, dry winters, while Southern Europe may experience increased precipitation. The North Atlantic could even experience a cold snap during El Niño. Access to food and drinking water may become more challenging, potentially leading to a severe food and economic crisis for countries and continents that struggled with the dramatic climate changes in 2015 and 2016, including Australia, Brazil, Peru, and Africa. The indirect impacts on global trade are also expected, with potential declines in exports of agricultural, livestock, mining, and fuel products. The world may find itself navigating through another chapter of climate-induced challenges. NOAA's projections suggest a potential double whammy for the United States during the upcoming El Niño, with a significant increase in precipitation in the eastern part of the country and a potent heat wave in the southwest and south. A study conducted by Dartmouth University, led by Christopher Callahan, paints a grim economic picture, estimating that the effects of this phenomenon could cost the global economy around $3.4 trillion over the next 5 years. The latter half of 2023 and the following year might indeed prove to be extremely challenging for the entire world. The concerning aspect is that El Niño and La Niña might not simply be occasional troublemakers, but could become more severe and frequent in the future. These climatic shifts could even disrupt the formation of tropical forests, Greenhouse gas emissions are identified as one of the primary culprits behind the escalating impact of El Niño and La Niña, further contributing to planetary warming. This raises the alarming prospect that high global temperatures could become the new normal, continuously on the rise, posing an even greater threat to the world. The potential future deterioration of the global weather situation serves as a compelling signal for everyone. It underscores the critical importance of environmental care, because only through collective efforts to protect our environment can we hope to mitigate and avert catastrophic consequences. The onus is on each one of us to take responsibility and contribute to a sustainable and resilient future. As we reach the cosmic conclusion of today's SpaceVerse exploration, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the realms of El Niño and La Niña. If you found this journey through the wonders of the universe as fascinating as we did, don't forget to hit that like button, share with fellow space enthusiasts, and subscribe to SpaceVerse for more celestial adventures. Remember to ring the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Thanks for joining us on this cosmic ride. Until next time, keep looking up.